Hello, 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 welcome, welcome. This is the Moon Miranda. I'm just going to go through some things I've been looking through today. This I didn't look through, I just came across it in a video by Anton Petrov on YouTube. Probably other places, that's where watch his channel. But I was like, oh, like this. Oh my, the current flows. Definitely some current flows. I don't know what to make of it without like a more map type of thing, but then there was this. So I've been watching, or I always entertain possibility. I don't believe the Earth is flat, but I entertain that possibility. Like I hear people out, and I see it's pretty like lackluster, honestly, is what I've come across because it's really not incorporating like all this data. Like it needs, if the flat Earth is true, it needs to incorporate all the data. So the only way I think it can actually do that is by being that the Earth is a sphere and a flat projection of that sphere, where the flat projection is like, it's like a Riemann sphere, where the projection is what the flat aspect is, but like understanding that mathematically in a way that opens doors. So like, anyway, I came across this series of videos, Blue Origin, that I just watched after seeing this one. I was like, wait, what? Goes to space? I don't know who Dude Perfect is. 29 million views. I watched this. Then I started watching several. I'm like, if this is a like made up thing, then it is incredibly done. So like odds are it's not. It really looks like simplest answer is most likely to be correct in this instance. So like there's so many things in this video, and the several others that I watched that are like it really is a sphere, or like so there was that, where this is interesting to me. I'm very intrigued by the Blue Origin and all these other like more like video. It's like, dudes, you guys know the flat Earth theory exists. Like, where are your cameras? Like, with complete intent of documenting as much actual footage of the Earth as possible, not just the trip, but the Earth as well. It's interesting. Like, I'd prefer the Earth to the setting, although the setting is cool. Like, how do we just look at the Earth, see it as much as we possibly can from up high, like in a video that is like that. But anyway, like they go into, it's certainly edited. I would like to also see the raw footage. It would be really epic if they just post, like they have GoPros, if they just posted the totality of the video uncut. So like the flat earth debate can have some input that's actual data without the editing, because the editing just makes it like, well, is this green screen? Like, I'm literally looking at it like, if it's green screen, how would they do this? Watching it like, dude, there's so many nuances, like the sun as it rotates, like perfectly coming in, and just subtleties that are just like, they gotta be paying ridiculous attention to detail. Ridiculous. Like the sheer amount of attention to detail. Perfect acting. Everyone's like acting like they're in space. Like they gotta be perfect, or it just like actually happened. So like the footage is pretty compelling, I think. to really drive home that no, the earth is not flat and only flat. And the only avenue in for flat earth is really through a Riemann sphere projection, like mathematically. Like, I don't want to proclaim it's false, and I don't think people should, because it's like there's a reason it's part of our discussion. Maybe just like for something to be false completely, but like that doesn't make sense. I really think it's a Riemann sphere projection, and that makes me think of potentials there that are just. I don't know math like that. Like, I couldn't deduce what that could possibly provide in like a technological setting, or just an additional understanding, like in terms of time travel, like literally things of that nature. Maybe. Or I don't know. Anyway, before I go like becoming a flat earther in people's eyes, because I'm obviously not, to anyone who actually is aware of my research, like it pretty much says the earth is not flat, except for at the times when I talk about it and say, well, Riemann sphere maybe, projection, like I see that possibility. I'm open. I mean, I'm also open to being disproven. I just don't see it possible, because I've showed how currents float around the earth so completely. Like, I just don't think that could have happened on a, like, it makes no damn sense. That's the problem with flat earth, is it makes no damn sense. Like, spheres make sense from like a gravity standpoint, and just, I mean, I know that people who believe flat earth frequently say, well, is gravity real? It's like, what are we doing here? You're gonna debate like at least the philosophical framework that Isaac Newton and before, like, clearly, carefully, and meticulously thought through things in ways that, like, maybe the government lies about a lot of shit, but that doesn't mean that the earth is flat, because like certain interpretations of words become interpreted as flat. Like, it's possible for there to be a spherical planet, and in fact, like, evidence shows there's spheres everywhere, even on the earth itself, that we can pick up and hold and be like, oh, look at that, a sphere, a geologically formed sphere. Can Earth not form as a sphere? Like, it doesn't really make sense. Whereas, just like force from all directions, that when things get near each other, they interact from that force and couple in ways where they then form larger systems that then can become visible as a balanced system that has like a shell that is like a planet that's a sphere. Like, it really, it's not just NASA. It's not just the government that's like propagating the globe model. It's also just science, like logic and reason, without like leaning on interpretations of certain words and scriptures that really are extremely like complex in terms of why they say what they say, like why then translation is translated a certain way, and just all the layers in it. Like, we can't just completely lean on it. So we have to also use logic and reason, which is basically physics in a classical mechanics sense, not in like the more modern sense where it's like classical mechanics, this one model to explain one universe. Pfft, dude, we got 3 models and counting. Just wait. Who knows what's next in physics world? Yeah, we found a new model. This one explains what would it do? I guess maybe the connection between the subtlest and the largest without going through the middle ground, like some around. Maybe something in that realm of reality. I don't know. I'm sure sooner or later the best option will be a fourth model. Or just like abandoning the models and be like, maybe there's another model out there. Maybe we should reconsider classical mechanics. You know, those are pretty rash decision of us to just abandon it completely and in any like higher level studies. Anyway, where is my tangent going? We're going now. I was looking here at these lakes. So here's this lake where this impact is, right? And if you notice here, there's this little thing. It's not too detectable in this, but if we go here, I believe. Like, what is up? What kind of impact has these little trails? They don't. That's what kind of impact does. They don't. And notice this, which I've been kind of pointing to as part of, like it's no accident that these are kind of adjacent, like two terminals, positive, negative. This here, if we look at the bathymetric data, which is I think that one. No. Nope. 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 This. Ooh, this is nice. It basically comes from down here this way as the part of this structure that's the negative depression versus the elevated positive with a terminal even maybe. And then something going on over here. So I thought that was interesting. And then whatever's going on here, that's really interesting. Whoa. Why would they put the text over the most weird whatever's going on there? Guys. I'm trying to figure out what's going on there. So that's this one. Mind you, where is Niagara Falls? Is that Niagara Falls? Oh yeah, here's Niagara Falls. So Niagara Falls is fed from here. And notice all these little things. Like they're not everywhere. Like let's go over here. They're not here. They're somewhat here. But not here like this. And not even here really, although actually maybe. Yeah. Definitely everywhere, but more so here along this stretch. And then there's this thing. But we can't really see the floor of this here, so let's pull this one up. best one. Oh. Don't you guys just use like PDF shit? There we go. Here we go. Maybe? There we go. Pardon me, you do in fact. Whoa. Just thinking of organs, like body organs at times. When I'm looking at some of these. At least this one gave me like an impression of a bladder. Just by having this like pooling region. It's not as much interactive with Lake Superior, and really is more so just interactive this way. So it's almost like an overflow, like this flow went this way, this way, this way, this way, this way, this way, but then it also overflowed this way. This also wasn't all there. Like, I think this was deposited in the process, if I remember right. Like, it's a lot of sediment layers, or layers deposited during the time frame of the Earth's expansion, which is 550 million to near present. I think in that time frame. See if it has periods. Maybe something age. There we go. Yeah, nothing there. It really starts Devonian and Mississippian, Pennsylvanian, Jurassic. Up here, we run into Cambrian, and then earlier stuff, but that's around Lake Superior. Whereas all this stuff is newly deposited, and I think even like down through the layers relatively, if I remember right, whereas basically like a larger lake that got filled in, but then what filled it in shaped into the mitten by the currents compressing it, I guess. Possibly then going this way, through here, over here. Well, this went this way. Colliding. I don't know. It's possible some stuff like that's going on, where there's a larger body of water that was present that had so much material fill in by the pressure that it became an actual landmass, rather than more like this. On top of continental crust, but still below the water level. I had so many things I was thinking about talking about. It's hard to remember them. I've not even gotten to what I was thinking about. But I was just looking at this. This one had some good ones. Bunch of little pothole things in that one. And islands. Or is that just what that is? Islands? Oh, that's islands. Opposite of potholes. Relatively higher elevation. Deep in this whole stretch. It's pretty deep in this region. Also deeper down that gouge, this thing, compared to this stretch, I guess. Pretty deep there, it looked like, too. I'm just kind of contemplating some things. I don't know, really, just looking at it. It's cool to look at. I was thinking, like, I literally, if you look at my YouTube search, I guess I might have closed it. I was just looking for Canadian lakes geology. There's just nothing. There's just nothing. It's like, dudes, it would be so nice if, like, these topics were online at this point. And I thought about them, like, they're all behind paywalls. Or the people researching them are just, like, sharing it through peer review and not, like, bothering or seeing any reason to share it in, like, a way, like, just online in videos. Because there's a lot of really, really good lectures on YouTube, but depending on location, like, lots of stuff on the Grand Canyon, lots of stuff on Yellowstone, maybe. Certainly lots of stuff in this region. This region has a lot of geological lectures on it. But this region, I mean, maybe the lakes. Oh my god, pardon me. Just all over the place. There's just countless places that are just not easily accessible information, I guess. So I guess it's my point being, even though I'm just looking at these things, it's cool because then it's kind of concentrated. Anything that I see, to a degree, I pass along so that it's easier to distribute certain things sooner or later, hopefully. People are like, what is wrong with this man? This man child. So this one, back to these little divots are there. So my thoughts are, I think I mentioned this before, but this gives a little more, like, current's basically coming from over here, this way, generally through to exit. So it comes here, and so let's just start at this point, goes through here, and then it enters into a region. Whatever. Enters into this region. Oh my god. Maybe that should do. That should do. I think I was already looking at this, wasn't I? This region, it's which is another like bladder type thing that formed, I guess. So it's like a bladder. Maybe like a pixel with a channel between that over time becomes more like this. Like maybe this was like this, or vice versa. This was like this, which was like this, which was like this, and down the line where this was more like this at some point. Like they started opening more and more, but started smaller, like channels that then found places to balloon to, because essentially as the channel continues, there's a lot of current coming behind it, and if it hits pressure, resistance, it just kind of is like, alright then, I guess I'm just gonna stay in this location and swirl around, and then it opens up space. Looks like it swirled specifically even like into this way, and then things that didn't go up over here went like around this way, maybe wrapped around here, and then got caught on, like, divided, like going around this way. But then divided this way, creating another eddy here, and then one going this way. Kind of like, as I frequently show, this thing,
On faster moving,
where there's a rotation this way, and then a rotation opposite on its back. Rotation this way, rotation opposite on its back. It's not like the ammonite shapes quite so much, but then that allows for this current to flow at this corner, like a weak point, where then my thoughts is like there's some kind of current coming in here of material, maybe. Something's bringing material here. Because I really don't think it pre-existed, like, or it had already been deposited and it was just being shaped. The reason I'm thinking that is just the way this interacted with it. Like, this corner isn't random. It's basically at the boundary of the mitten thing, which suggests some kind of like tug of war balance between two forces, one flowing this way into a resistance. I mean, maybe it's already just there, but I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, especially when this is there, like this flow and this flow are simultaneous, so it's able to gouge out something over here, but continues more so here, and then flows this way. So I guess maybe it was present already. Devonian. That's pretty early on. It's late enough where I'm not sure. Because just not sure. Either way, this somehow is there. Interacting with this flow. Flowing this way, filling this thing in, and then I guess let's go back to this. Floor of Lake St. Clair is very shallow, with the deepest point lying just in excess of 6 meters. Deep water sea lanes are therefore dredged channels across the extent of the lake. So this is for boat travel. Microtopography formed by dumping of dredged spoils is present on either side of the dredged sea lane channel. Other small-scale topography, including a north-south ridge extending northward from the south shore, may be anthropogenic in origin. This, maybe? The delta of the St. Clair River is the dominant feature of the lake. This platform of deltaic deposits has been built out into the lake, the outer edge of which is bounded by aforesaid slopes extending downward from platform depths of less than 1 meter to more than 3 meters depth. I guess in this area. It looks almost like there was a deeper amount of water initially by like this region. So then it comes out this way over here. I guess it energetically it starts to really do this thing where it creates these pockets that get bigger and then run into resistance. Down here runs into resistance. It gets bigger and deeper, bigger and deeper, even bigger, even deeper, but not bigger. So it's just building back pressure, like in this direction. Right at this boundary, all of this water is kind of pushing that way, or yeah, towards the boundary. Like it's just sitting there, but there's a back pressure. So if this is flowing, like which it is to etch it, so there's a back pressure. So it's pushing it. So anything at the front is getting like forced forward, but then it reaches a point where it can't go forward, so it starts to like run into the boundary more, and that's when the etching of this happens, and it finds a way through at the very boundary again, at the very edge, finds a way through and just out into here. But in the meantime, like there's still so much pressure that I guess it swirls around ultimately here, creating this sandbar, and in the meantime digging into this region, like just swirling down and into along it as the current builds. It waits to get through the line. I saw a video today of like, must have been 100 people trying to climb Mount Everest, like all in a line, like one literally like 2 steps behind each other. Like, you guys know that's Mount Everest, right? Anyone falls, it's just like, oh my god. Anyway, these are a little odd. Like the angle of them are kind of suggestive of like currents going more directly in, or like this angle. They come in like, I guess over here it just has no space, so it kind of deflects off and bends. Deflects off and bends like this more so. Like as an upper layer, which then drives it around this corner and down into the pocket there. So if this one comes out here, kind of goes right across into this divot. Cross and then wraps around and up along here to like here. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on over here. Like, how did it get over there? The only reason that would happen in my mind is like a back pressure. Like, it didn't get through here that easily. So it started to go over that way too. It's even a river, so it really did go that way. And does. Or does it? Does this flow into it or out of it? What is this river called? Maumee River. Meanders northeast. It is formed at the confluence of St. Joseph and St. Mary rivers, where Fort Wayne, Indiana, is developed. From northeastern Indiana into Lake Erie. So in the same way as Gurnar, where things are backwards when they're forming, this current flows this way. Although this is forward. So maybe it doesn't have to be that the current's like car past to go the other way. It's a little odd, everything. Here's Illinois. Where did they say? St. Louis, even? St. Joseph. Northwestern Ohio. Northeastern Indiana. Oh my god. Oh. Let's just follow it then. It comes out here. Comes in here. So I'm not following it, but I wanted to see what's going on with this. See how this one kind of runs into a dead end, but it's still wet from the water. Like, why is that there? If it's not like channels being pushed out by the pressure. This even has some kind of shape there. Cool. Okay. Holy crap. Whoa. That was dry. Weird. must connect all the way. Whoa. I almost want to study these things. What are they doing? Okay. Well, I guess I won't talk about Canada. I was gonna talk about Canada. I was actually more excited about that. This was maybe cool. I don't know how it went, but it's hard to say really when I'm just doing it. That's right. This had multiple pictures. Didn't really look at this like. Didn't look at a lot of things. I was just gonna had those topographical maps open and thought I'd check them out. Really, didn't expect that to take 42 minutes. Going through the links. What else we got? I think we at least made through all the links. Oh, there we go. Does it legitimately stop there or just enter? It must enter. Oh, that's its watershed. It almost looks disconnected on that one. This one maybe connects them. I mean, if it has a different watershed where it flows out to the Erie. It flows out to Erie, but then pretty much everything else flows out to the Gulf. Like all the Mississippi, Missouri, Arkansas, Red Sabine, Colorado, Alabama, Tennessee, Ohio, Wabash, Illinois, all of these flow out to over here. Savannah over there, out to the coastline, coastline. The only ones that do not are the Maumee and Red, according to, on this map at least, which are notably both connected to Great Lakes, and specifically that one that we were just looking at. So that's a pretty good sign. If it really, since it flows this way, that it did form by basically trying to connect. Maybe it was literally trying to connect to the Mississippi. Like energetically, had it connected, it would have created a avenue that way that was maybe more like this. But instead it connected through this way. I don't mean to say trying, but like kind of energetically trying. Like it's looking for some kind of terminal to connect to then have the current flow through, and it goes that way. Also over here, I don't know where that was. Okay, I'm gonna just stop here, I think, and then start recording again, probably about Canada, because I found some cool things about Canada and I don't want to just start 50 minutes in talking about it. So I'll see you in a few seconds. Peace.